Going to start a video series. This will be number 1 about meeting wrestlers and collecting autographs and pictures and stuff like that. Something that a lot of YouTube wrestling fans do and many other channels on it. And I'll tell some stories and share some of my experiences. Eventually want to do a top 10 list of the best meets and the worst meets too, but I was going to go through. I have over 6,000 wrestling autographs as on my last count. Most of them are on 8x10s or something similar, and many multiples, but there's at least over 1,200 different wrestlers as the last count too, and some interesting stories of how I got some of them. So, and these are not really in any order whatsoever. I just try to protect them at this point, so maybe we'll have some stories come out as we go along. So this first one, I have both Mr. Fuji's and Mr. Sayato's autograph, and obviously with a picture with me. This was taken at one of those wrestler reunions out in Los Angeles. I know Sayato and Patera were also doing a McDonald's themed one. I didn't really desire a picture with the McDonald's theme one. I got some with Patera in a different way as well. Mr. Fuji, the only time I ever met him, so I'm so glad I was able to do this at this time. Very nice, kind of, he was already declining in health at that point, kind of old. And yeah, actually, Mr. Sayato has passed away now too. Mr. Sayato did not speak much English. His wife was there who would translate a little bit more, and Mr. Sayato didn't really seem like he wanted to be there. I didn't have a negative experience with him, but yeah, he definitely didn't really seem like he wanted to be there. Mr. Fuji, a lot more fan-friendly. And so, but I love this picture with the three of us together as well. So, that's first one in this album. This one is from the Road Warriors, just Animal. I have never met Hawk, met Animal many times with the Minnesota connection. Animal, when the Road Warriors book came out, Animal did book signings. I think I went to 3 different Animal book signings, so I'm not sure where this one's from. Another Animal story, Wrestle Reunion 31 in, not Wrestle Reunion, WrestleCon 31 in San Jose. Got to meet Animal and Devon in the hotel lobby. Back when it was a lot easier to get autographs in the hotel lobby than it is. Has anyone else, if you go to WrestleCon every year and WrestleMania weekend, have you noticed that the vendors and stuff have gotten a lot stricter and not almost to the point of being mean about what you can do with their wrestlers unless you're paying them a bunch of money? And I'm not gonna criticize them for that because I'm sure WrestleCon charges them a lot, and maybe are they losing money? Are they just realizing how many wrestlers are signing outside of places like that? But man, you can barely talk to the wrestlers now without getting some vendor trying to get money from you. This was 31. Animal and Devon were talking in the lobby, and I just let them talk until they were done talking. Then I approached them both, got a picture with them both. Not sure if this is where that autograph came, because yeah, I've got many Animal autographs. Many Paul Ellering autograph. Actually, that is a Paul Ellering autograph as well as Animal in this one. Okay, so Paul Ellering stories. I actually met Paul Ellering for the first time at a Mean Gene Okerlund restaurant opening. I actually stopped at his bar. He has a bar in kind of north central Minnesota, I'd call it. Stopped at the bar. He was there. Ordered a drink, non-alcoholic. I do not drink, but non-alcoholic drink. He didn't seem to mind. Sat at his bar and we talked wrestling for about half an hour. Very nice guy. Very, very nice guy. And he's like, and then somehow we both talked for a little while, and we ended up, he's like, oh yeah, I'm going to Mean Gene. I don't know if he was even, maybe he didn't even realize that I knew that Mean Gene was doing his thing, his restaurant opening just like 15 miles away. And he said he was going to that. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm definitely going to that. And so I said, I'll see you there. Sitting up front in the hamburger eating contest at Mean Gene's restaurant things were just about to start. Paul Ellering points to me, he's like, come on, Tim, I'm rooting for you. Yes, I mean, that was so cool. Paul Ellering, one of my favorites of all time. More Road Warriors, so this was, I guess I decided to find some Road Warriors. It's probably from a book signing era. I mean, there's yet another one. Animal's really good at signing, if you've ever met him. Doesn't seem to, I mean, at least for the most part, if you find him in public, doesn't seem to charge. Here's Kevin Von Erich. Man, the stories with him are just amazing as well. I didn't realize there's going to be so many stories for so many of these guys, but that's what it is like meeting wrestlers. Met him at Wrestle Reunion in Los Angeles. You guys can look up the dates if you're really interested in it. It's somewhere around 2009, 2010. those are about the times I went. I went 2 years to Wrestle Reunion in Los Angeles. I live in the Midwest. That's on the West Coast. Pretty good thing. Overall, yeah, I'll give kudos to the Wrestle Reunion. Was it Sal Cornette? I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right, but he might be the one who was in charge of those, and I know he's still big time in the wrestling. I have so many mutual friends with him, and we would even know each other if we ran into each other, and he's always been really nice to me, so kind of one of those, it was tough though, a big money-making thing, and you're trying to get free autographs and stuff too. So Kevin Von Erich was there, and we had a really good talk while we were waiting. He was waiting for a ride to go. He had some other stuff to do in Los Angeles, and he and I talked for about half an hour, just the two of us, out kind of behind the hotel, and just had some private conversation with him, got to know him really well. We have some things with our faith that are similar, and just wrestling history, and so one of my all-time favorites. I ran into him a couple times through the years. Actually, I ran into his sons at a California Alley Club a couple years ago, and they said that, yeah, Kevin told them about me, and so that was really cool to Kevin sharing with his sons the stories, that some of the stories we talked about together, so that was really cool. Here you have the Guerrero family, and it looks like Mondo Guerrero signed it. It's the only one signed. It actually should, well, Eddie would not obviously be able to sign it anymore, but I believe Chavo Sr. passed away as well, but that would be, is that going to be, I obviously recognize Hector, and there's another Guerrero in there, in the middle there, in there too, and I don't know if you'd ever be approachable, so Mondo Guerrero, probably met him at Wrestle. He actually dated 2012 though, so I'm not sure if, I guess it could have been Wrestle Reunion 2012. I met Hector's actually a really cool guy to meet too. Very, very fan-friendly. The Gobbledygooker from Survivor Series. I never met Eddie. He passed away here in Minnesota. I was not that big of an Eddie fan in the ring. I mean, I give him a tip of the cap for his getting his life back on track at the end, and sad that he couldn't make it past any farther. I just was not a fan. I didn't think he was heavyweight champion material. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm not gonna pretend something just because he's had a courageous life. I mean, I was not a fan of Eddie in the ring, but at the same time, respect him as a person, and yeah, the whole Guerrero family. Every Guerrero I've ever met has been really nice. Chavo Jr. isn't the best signer that I've run into, but other than that, it's been okay. You have, it looks like just Harry Smith. So this is from, I'm guessing this is still all from Wrestle Reunion, because I know he was there at one of the Wrestle Reunions I went to. Got him to sign. First time just quiet, but fine, but quiet. I mean, I wasn't like, oh, wow, that was Harry Smith. He was so nice. I mean, but at the same time, wasn't disappointed. But he came to Waterloo Hall of Fame in 2018 and was so nice. And you could talk to, yeah, just getting him in that environment. We were honoring Owen Hart. He was, if you've, I mean, you can actually watch the video on the channel of him honoring Owen Hart, and he says some really nice stuff too. Yeah, he was average up until that point, and I liked this. Actually, Kid and Smith with Natalya I thought was the best, and then he went on kind of his own Japan and some of the smaller like things in the US, and he was fine, but I really appreciated him after meeting him this past summer at the Hall of Fame, and now he's one of my all-time favorite. I mean, actually it's hard, it's lots of them, but he's up there in the favorites list definitely, so that was kind of cool. I've met Tyson Kidd. I guess I didn't have him sign this one. This would be one to, actually I met Natalya many times too, so we'll maybe get to them. This is Dolph Ziggler, who's actually right now, this is October of 2018, making a name for himself back in WWE, kind of rebirth with Drew McIntyre. One of the best signers of WWE talent, like from, I guess he's been around now for about 13 years maybe in WWE, and one of the best signers in these 13 years, always willing to sign. He's just himself. He's not like this overly, unbelievably talkative person, but very nice and polite. And yeah, if you've ever met him, you know what I mean. I mean, like, you're not gonna give him a hug ever, but but just very respectful. And you could talk wrestling with him too, which is kind of cool. So I really respect him. He's always willing to sign Nikki's Spirit Squad, and that's obviously that was this was a single. I got a Spirit Squad photo with, I believe, 4 of them signed. And so that one means, yeah, and I appreciate the people who would be willing to sign even maybe in the characters that aren't their favorites. So yeah, so many nice things to say about Dolph Ziggler. And from one great signer to another, Kofi Kingston, always willing, actually all of the New Day willing to sign, but Kofi even before he was a member of the New Day, great to find in airports and stuff like that. Don't know anything, I've met him so many times that this is just one of many. And so yeah, I am New Day. I'd consider myself a fan. I'm not going to be their top fan, but I appreciate them a lot. So yeah, it's good to see Kofi. Here's another guy that the other people are bigger fans of than I am, and I actually just in an earlier video today I just mentioned that in the SmackDown 1000 as he returned, but Rey Mysterio. But Rey, on the other hand, is a really nice guy. From a meeting him standpoint, I'm really impressed by him. This one, I'm not sure if this is the day we met, but he was actually brought his, he had one of those buses like Randy Orton and some of Triple H and stuff have. And so we got to know his bus driver really well, and we found out he was still in the bus, and we told him to tell Rey that we're big fans. And so Rey came out, signed some pictures, took some pictures, and then asked if we wanted to watch the UFC fight. And then so he opened the window of his bus, and he had like a really nice TV in there there was a UFC fight going on. This was before Ronda Rousey and everything. This was like, I'm gonna guess back in the days like Chuck Liddell and Matt Hughes and stuff like that. I don't remember who was fighting. It wasn't that, to me, I didn't really care that much, except for the fact that I thought it was cool that we're watching the UFC fight on Rey Mysterio's bus TV, but we weren't in the bus, but we were watching through the window, and that was pretty cool. And then he came out and brought us some waters too, because it was a hot night, and so we had bottled water from Rey Mysterio's bus. My friend and I, I'm pretty sure he kept his too. We kept the bottles. It's kind of a cool story. This was in Rey Mysterio's refrigerator, so probably from the same. I mean, he signed a bunch of stuff that night, so I like, yeah, and with Rey too, you can tell because these are Rey Mysterio 619. Sometimes when he has a whole bunch of people he's lined up for to sign, he'll sign Rey 619, and I appreciate that because he wants to get to everybody. And but these are really nice autographs too, so I appreciate that. Mason Ryan, man, I would hope no one would forget about him because he was kind of in that new Nexus for a while and never quite got over. And this was one time in an airport. I remember it well because it's the only time I ever met him. Quiet, very quiet, but willing to sign, and got a picture with him, and I guess that's all I really have to say on him. Beth Phoenix, great. As every year, I think I appreciate her more than I had the previous year. I mean, back in her heyday, I don't think I was as big of a fan as some people, and maybe it was just I wasn't appreciating it enough or looking at it enough, but so soft-spoken and nice. She's married to Edge, and they've come together to a few things. They're very respectful of wrestling history and stuff like that. Very quiet. So I remember a couple times I met her, and she's willing to take pictures, do autographs, but she's definitely not a I mean, she's just very quiet and just like, but very friendly, but very quiet. This was her on-screen boyfriend for a while, Santino Marella, another very quiet person. He was hard to get. I remember I missed him about the first 4 or 5. He would never seem to be able to want to sign, so he was on my list. Could never get him to sign. Finally did. When he did sign, quiet but nice. I mean, and so I don't know what to think of him. I probably lukewarm towards him. I mean, don't have anything against him, but not really a fan. The Miz, for as heelish as he is, I've actually met him probably 15 times, and usually pretty good at signing. He's been a little worse lately with Maurice, and I don't know if any of us ever have noticed that, but I remember one time catching him coming off a flight And I asked him if he'd be willing to sign, and he said, I will, but I'm not going to stop walking, so you have to walk with me. So I'm walking with him, trying to find my Miz thing for him to sign and do it, but he did. And so I like the Miz. I like his character. I think he's starting to get the recognition he deserves. So, I mean, maybe like 5 years ago, I would have called him underrated. Now I think we actually do. I mean, I don't think he's changed that much, but I think people have appreciated him more as a whole. And so, yeah, not too bad. David Otunga, I haven't quite figured out why we see him every once in a while as an announcer, why he stopped wrestling, everything else like that. He's okay. I'm usually willing to sign. I actually like him as an announcer. I didn't mind him as part of the Nexus. That was fine too. Yeah, just no stories really related to him. Another Beth Phoenix. Looks like Kelly there. She's usually pretty good at sign. I'm going to tell a story that's totally not about us, and but we were in a hotel waiting for autographs, and there was people said this was a hotel they were going to be staying at, and so there were a bunch of people, a bunch of fans, a bunch of people I never knew. I mean, sometimes you get to know the fans of the area, and there were a bunch of people that I didn't know there that were just waiting. This blonde woman comes in. She doesn't look anything like Kelly except for the fact that she's blonde, and maybe, I mean, she was thin and fit, but she was like definitely not Kelly. She was just a blonde woman, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's Kelly! It's Kelly!" And they're all running and getting her, trying to get her autograph. And I'm just like, "That's not Kelly." I think I said that out loud. Like, this is not Kelly, people. And we got kicked out of the hotel as a whole, which I still don't understand why I got kicked out, because I never did anything, but I guess they didn't want any wrestling fans in the hotel after that. So great job, guys. Hey, here you go, little Jimmy R-Truth. Yes. I just saw him on SmackDown 1000. Got the Truth TV. Always friendly, fun. I like him. I appreciate him. Always fan-friendly. Yes. Looks like another Kofi Kingston. I don't think that autograph didn't turn out. That shouldn't have had in gold. But sometimes you're standing there with other people. You just have the gold. So there's a CM Punk. Wow. Yeah, maybe this might be where we end, because I know my first tape's gonna run out here soon. Actually, let's see what else we have, and then we'll go back. Actually, we're gonna have Ted DiBiase Jr. after this. So I'm not gonna be able to edit. I don't have my editing material with me. So we'll end with CM Punk, and we'll do session 2 starting with Ted DiBiase next time. Then CM Punk, met him many times. I've heard some stories about meeting him and how it has not gone well. I don't know what's happened, because I have met him like 4 times. All 4 times have been on the run someplace, not like in a controlled Comic-Con setting where you're paying to meet. I mean, I've never had to pay to meet him or anything. This was all times he assigned for me every time. The one time I was coming to an arena, I believe it was Rochester, Minnesota. I was there about 3.5 hours early. Security wasn't even there yet. I saw a car pull up towards the arena, and I'm like, those are wrestlers. I couldn't tell who they were. So I went running towards them, because I'm like, I want to catch them if they go in the arena. There's not even security here yet. So I went up to the door where they go in. It was CM Punk and Domino from like Deuce and Domino, the tag team. So I'm going to guess 2006, 2007, somewhere around there, if I'm dating it correctly. And CM Punk looks at me, he's like, "Hey dude, I don't think you're supposed to be up here." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm sorry, but I'd love to meet you guys. I'll go away if you guys sign." And they were both really nice. The security guard comes running out the door. "Hey, you're not supposed to be here." And CM Punk says he's fine. And then, so the security guard actually took a picture of CM Punk, Domino, and me together. Then the security guard told me where I could wait if I wanted to wait for future wrestlers. But I thought CM Punk went to bat for me, and I appreciated that. And I have met him a few other times. I don't have like an amazing, that's my only really big time CM Punk story, but he's always, if you're polite with him, he's always been fine with me back. He doesn't owe me anything. None of the wrestlers owe me autographs unless you pay for them at a place. So I was respectful to them. He was respectful to me. I got CM Punk and Domino in an autograph, and pretty sure that's the only time I've ever met Domino. So I'm sure that'll come up in a future one. Well, this was part 1. Tell me what you liked, what you didn't like. I will continue to share. Like I said, we hardly made it through. I have like hundreds of these books, and we hardly made it through one. So I will be signing off for now because I believe my tape's going to run out. Actually, I'm going to go until it turns red, and then I will sign off because... So let's go one more quickly because I don't have any editing material, so I'm not going to be able to splice anything together. Ted DiBiase Jr. Met him a couple times, just like at an airport or at an arena show or something. Very nice. I thought I enjoyed watching him wrestle and stuff too. So I'm sad that he didn't quite seem to make it for some reason. Cody and DiBiase were great together as part of Randy Orton's group and stuff like that. Don't really have much on Ted. He was a good signer, even though I've got kind of some of the same. Here we have Zack Ryder. I've never had that amazing experience with Zack Ryder. He seems really nice. I've caught him a few times, and he's always seemed willing to sign. Good taking pictures. I'm probably kind of right in the middle on Zack Ryder. I think I appreciate him. He's not my favorite of all time, and it was nice to see him win the IC belt in WrestleMania in that ladder match. I thought he deserved it, so that was kind of cool. He seems to really appreciate the business. I know he collects those Hasbro figures, and that some of you probably collect, so we'll go with it. Jack Swagger, always good signer. The American, I don't know what else he has here, so Swagger. Yeah, I wish he wouldn't have done that. He did that, he found something, I don't know, it was an illegal drug right about when he was getting his biggest push. Never seemed to rebound from that. Very nice guy though, so always fun to get him signed. There's another Rey Mysterio. I've already shared many stories with him. Hey, another full Rey Mysterio autograph. Yeah, a lot of those were probably from that time we met him in the truck. Here's the Bellas. There's only one Bella, and I'm going to say, no, like, I should know. It looks like Nikki, I think. And so, Nikki Bella signing. I know I have a really nice picture with the Bellas very early in their career. Who would have thought they would have turned into such big superstars? They're very nice at signing. Even when they've gotten a little more popular, they've been very nice at signing. Don't know what else to say about the Bella. I am a Bellas fan overall. Probably like them more than a lot of people. I mean, they're not my all-time favorites, but I sure do appreciate them. Sheamus. Sheamus is an interesting one. I remember meeting him. He was signing at Best Buy. I don't even think we had to buy anything. I think we could just wait. So, you know, the line was long. This was in Minneapolis. And then, so I'm driving from the Best Buy. I'm going to go to the arena. And then I'm on the radio in Minneapolis. It's like, well, WWE wrestler Sheamus is going to join us in half an hour at the studio. Downtown Minneapolis. So it wasn't too far from the Target Center. I decided maybe there'd be some fans down there. I mean, there were already like 500 fans at the Best Buy. I'm like, I'll get in line for another autograph picture or whatever. Get down to the radio arena. He's just getting done. I'm the only fan there, and he recognizes me from Best Buy. And I'm like, wow, it's like you just met 500 people and you still remember me. So he was willing to sign some more stuff though. But yeah, he seemed like, I think he thought I was stalking him or something. So I don't know about that. He's pretty good overall at signing. I think sometimes he plays here. Okay, it's just telling me I'm going to run out now. So that's where we'll end. We look